Welcome to The Thriving Entrepreneur, where high performance and business strategy blend almost as perfectly as crepes and Nutella. Grab your headphones and your favorite flavored latte and tune in weekly as we talk about business, personal development, marketing, mindset, and everything in between. And now, your host, high performance coach, business strategist, and chocolate addict, Yasmin Inal.
Hey Thrivers, welcome to another episode of The Thriving Entrepreneur. This is your host, Yasmin Inal, and I am super excited as always to welcome an amazing guest today. PollyAnna Brown owns PK Media, which is a storytelling-based marketing PR firm and the creator of the Storytelling Marketing Formula, a marketing system founded in professional storytelling, community building, and entertainment to create epic brand loyalty plus intimate audience relationships for business owners. What an amazing mission. PollyAnna, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I am literally on the edge of my seat. I'm so excited.
Yay! I love doing that to people. Just kidding. So happy to have you here. You know, I watched just one video of yours online and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like totally in love with this girl. Like she's so sweet, so personable, so down to earth, and you own your expertise. And I love seeing women like that, seeing entrepreneurs like that in general. So I want you to take us back. Like, did you always know this is what you were going to be doing? Like, did you always have that entrepreneurial bug, or was it something that you kind of got introduced to along your life's journey?
That is such a brilliant question. And so I have a long storytelling answer for you. So when I was 5 years old, I was playing with my Legos. And do you remember the Legos where you had like the big platform and you built up the cities?
Yeah.
I was doing that. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, what do I want to be when I grow up? Because I was in kindergarten. And once you hit kindergarten, everyone asks you, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yeah.
Man, I didn't think about that before. So I had this huge life conundrum that I had to solve. And so I'm playing with my Legos. And I go, I could be a doctor, but I really don't like blood. And so that's not going to work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went, I could be a lawyer. But at the time, I lived in an abusive household. And I went, if I was going to be a lawyer, I wanted to work with abused women and children. Like, even at that little age, I went, that's going to make me really sad every day. So I was like, I can't do that. What can I do? What do I love to do? And at the time, I was acting and singing. And I was like,
oh my goodness,
what I want to do. Yeah, it was the coolest thing. And so I was like, that's what I want to do, because I knew, I was smart enough to know that would make me millions of dollars. And then I could build an empire. I wanted to own a fashion line and a makeup line. And I wanted to take all of that money and solve world hunger. That's what I wanted to do. And
love it. Isn't it amazing how we have that as a child? And then somehow the society, parents, teachers tell you, no, that's not realistic. No, you can't do that.
Yes. And so it evolved with time. And I actually acted all the way up until I was 25. I retired at 25. And
I think that's why I love you, because I have a musical theater background, my friend.
Yes.
Now we solve the mystery.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense now.
Now watch us break into songs, everyone.
I'm down. I'm down.
Awesome.
So that's how it evolved for me. And it was interesting because I'd always had that entrepreneurial bug piece to me, because when I was 9, I wanted this doll really, really bad. Her name was Sunshine and Lollipops. She was gorgeous. And it was a super cute yellow pinafore. And I wanted her so bad. And it was right after my parents had split up and we were broke, like seriously, on food stamps and welfare. And it was not such a great situation. And I showed my mom, I was like, I really want this doll, like maybe Christmas or my birthday or something. And she was like, well, I can't afford it. So if you can come up with the money, then you can get it. And I was like, ding. So
awesome. I love how your mom empowered you with that, because I say that to a lot of my friends, clients. I think it's so important for us, who are parents, to empower our kids with, like, even if you don't have something, right, to give them the idea to say, well, we can't afford, instead of saying we can't afford it, saying, what can you do to get that? What could you do to get that?
Exactly. It's a complete mindset shift. And that shifted me forever. Because immediately I went to get construction paper and I took my crayons and I created flyers for Polly's cleaning service.
Oh, that is so cute. How old were you, PollyAnna?
I was 9.
Oh my goodness.
I took my little red wagon and we were living with my grandparents at the time, and I filled it with cleaning supplies and I went door to door with my flyers. And I had my whole spiel down. Everybody knew about sunshine and lollipops by the time I was done.
That is so adorable and so brave of you. Oh my God.
I tell you what, it changed everything, because from that moment, I knew I could create what I wanted to live and what I wanted to have, and that I always had something I could do. And so that shifted my entire paradigm from there's not enough to I can create what I want. And that is life-changing.
That's everything right there. Like, that's like the biggest life lesson I think any young person could learn.
Absolutely.
Knowing that you have the power to get what you want, if you're just willing to put in the work and use your creativity, use your imagination, use your skills to make a difference in someone's life. Because I'm sure some of those people really enjoyed having you clean their homes, right?
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. They got a kick out of it.
Yeah. So were you singing while you were cleaning too? Because that would be like double the treat.
Oh, I'm sure I was. I sung everywhere I went. I pretty much was a person who was like, hello, and just like everywhere I went. So
that's awesome. I love it. I love it. So you told us that you had this acting and singing background. So you did it professionally?
Yes.
For some time. Okay, that's great. And so what made you transition from that to becoming an entrepreneur? Like, in the full sense.
Absolutely. What made me transition was I really didn't want to act anymore. For me, it was really rough because I am such an emotionally connected person that for me, I felt everything I was acting. So there was no pretend for me. And so
I was the same way. Oh my gosh, we have so much in common. It's crazy.
Someone gets it. It was so funny because it was like tearing myself apart every day because I was typecasted as the victim and the girl next door.
Oh my goodness.
Sob scenes all the time. So I couldn't do it to myself anymore, but I loved the connection of storytelling and I believed in stories. That was the thing, is when I thought about acting, I thought about these stories change the world. They change how people think. They change how people show up. They inspire revolutions. I want to be a part of that.
I love that.
I realized I could do that with writing. And so I started taking my writing seriously. Before then, I had been an undercover writer. And by undercover, I literally mean I would hide under my covers with a flashlight writing so no one knew.
That's hilarious. Like literally and figuratively. I love that.
So once I started that, I went back to school for, I got a master's in psychology and a master's in creative writing with a focus in screenwriting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's powerful, girl. That's amazing.
I tell you what, I took it so seriously because I'm like, this is what I want to do. I know I'm great at it. However, I'm a big believer in you're always learning. You're always growing. And I didn't want to be like, I'm great at this, so I'm just going to go off. I really wanted to learn and have mentors. That was so important to me. And so
important in general. Yeah. I believe in that.
I do the same thing in business. I love having my mentors. So important.
You can't do it alone. You just cannot do it alone.
No. And so that shifted into, I had a couple other businesses and I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. I really wanted to write and I really wanted to teach people writing. And I was actually tutoring at the time. So I was teaching people how to write on, different kinds of things. I did a lot of college essays, a lot of entrance things and stuff like that.
Cool.
And I found
you have an amazing background, super wide variety. Love it.
Yes. And so then I realized I want to help entrepreneurs. What can I help entrepreneurs with? Because I loved their fire and their innovation. And seriously, I believe that if world peace is going to happen, it's going to happen through the innovation of entrepreneurs.
I believe in that with all of my heart. I mean, honestly, I believe in that with all my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have that. It's not just about business. It's about making that difference and changing the mindsets.
Yes.
It's not going to happen from top down. It has to be from bottom up.
Absolutely. It's impact.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we have right now that is available to everyone who desires it, which is revolutionary and so exciting.
Yeah.
And so I knew I wanted to help them, and I was like, what can I help them with? And I noticed this trend. I saw people telling their stories on webinars, and I was like, I can help them with that.
Yeah.
And so I started my business really small. I just started with these like $9.97 packages for 6 weeks, teaching entrepreneurs how to tell their personal story.
Wow.
And my business grew from there.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And look at all the things you're doing right now. Like I see what you're doing, what you're going to be talking about soon, but it's amazing the impact that you can do when you get out of your own way.
Absolutely. And that's really the key. I had just as much doubt as the next person. And I was like, can I really do this? I even had my mom, she was like, what qualifies you to do this? Right?
Like, who are you to do that?
Exactly. And I had to think about it. And I was like, well, I've been a lifetime storyteller. It's what I've done my whole life. It is the common thread. And it's the thing within me that burns so bright and so fiercely that it cannot be denied. So for me to bring that passion to other people so that it can ignite and they can run off and do all these amazing storytelling things to enhance their business and up-level their business, that is like the holy grail to me. So it was really about getting out of my own way and saying, yes, I can do this because I know I can help, I can make a difference, and keeping it to myself just seems selfish at that point.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I was so excited to get it out there.
Yeah. So I want you to dive into it, for us. Like we understand that storytelling is powerful. Like I'm completely convinced with that. I've taken a bunch of storytelling, either like at a live event, I've attended some events where it was for speakers because I do speak on stages. So storytelling is always a huge component of the teachings for a lot of the people out there. So how do you teach it? Like, for someone who's never even considered storytelling, like who's never even pondered about it or thought about it, never took the time to think about their own stories, and how do you choose which story to share when? So I know those are a lot of questions, but I just want you to tell us what storytelling is and the number one storytelling skill that we need to know to increase our sales, to get our clients that resonate with us, who in whose lives we can make a huge impact, and that, all the good stuff that you want to share with us about storytelling.
Absolutely. So I'm going to give it all to you.
Please. This is your moment. Take it.
It has been taken.
Yes.
So what storytelling is everyone has this idea that storytelling is the sharing of experiences. And it's actually not, which is probably the biggest mind blow of what I teach. Storytelling is actually a mindset. And it's a way of perceiving your world and processing information so that you can then communicate that information. If you want to think about it this way, it is the highest level of communication you can possibly have with another human being. And I'm going to explain why. So storytelling is a set of skills that come together to make an impact with words. And it's really how you show up and show your people how you can help them. So it's not so much about telling them, hey, I can help you, right?
Yeah.
It's about showing up and saying, you can do this and you can do this. And here's some, little stories and tidbits and analogies to go with it that really accentuate what I'm showing you. And then they can take that because it makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? It's easy for them to digest. So with storytelling, the reason why it's so powerful is because when you learn storytelling skills and techniques and you get them down, what you do as the speaker is it emotionally connects you to what it is that you're speaking about in a deeper way. And then more pieces of your brain light up. And when more pieces of your brain light up, the person who is watching you or reading your stuff, it works for video, it works in person, it works in audio, and it works in writing for text. What happens is they have mirror neurons that light up in the same patterns as you, the speaker. So what you're doing is, as you are deepening that emotional connection, as you are deepening your resonance with what it is that you're speaking about through these storytelling skills, what happens is your audience lights up in the same way, and it allows them to encode those messages into their memory for their long-term memory. So what happens
I love that.
Right, so powerful.
It is.
So not only can you develop an emotional bond with them right away, right, and make a huge impact, but you are setting yourself up for immense success by being the number one person they think of when they think of your area of expertise. So super powerful. So it's really important to be aware of who your audience is, right? That's the first step. The next thing you want to do is you want to map out their emotional journey, right? Where are they right now in that pain space? Because you have to understand their pain to help them out of it, right?
That's right.
And it doesn't mean that you have to have been there yourself, but you have to have been in that kind of pain yourself. And so what you do is you create, I use these analogies myself. So I have physical things that go with them.
That's cool. I love that.
What you want to do is you want to create an emotional arc, right? So here's the pain, here's the transformation on the other side. And what you do is with your stories, with what it is that you're sharing, you walk over that bridge. I call it the bridge of transformation. And you meet them in their pain. Now, it's not the same as giving them excuses for their pain or feeling their pain. It's just that understanding place where you can take them by the hand and say, I know where you've been, but there's another option. Take them by the hand, you walk them over the bridge of transformation to that new place where they can actually live there. And so what happens is you need to know the emotional journey that makes up that bridge. In order for it to make sense. I always tell my people, the reason that people don't buy is because you haven't conveyed how you can help them. And that's always, always, always in the storytelling pieces of what you're sharing. So when you're thinking about what story am I sharing? What is it that, you know, my people really need to hear so they know. I am the expert for them. You want to look at that emotional journey and plot out the points of your stories because you have so many more than just one. You want to pick the pieces of your story that fit that emotional journey so they can feel with their entire being that you get it. And you can take them there because you've done it yourself. And like I said, it doesn't have to be their exact same experience. It needs to be the same emotional journey. So they can identify.
Because no one has, like, even two siblings don't have the same exact experience, right?
Exactly.
Even if they grew up in the same household. Some things they share, but they still have their separate lives.
Absolutely. And their perspectives can even be different. So it's really important to know the emotional journey of your audience, because what you can do is create allegories that are segues between your story and theirs. And you can really show them. And that's what it's all about. That's the number one skill that all entrepreneurs and business owners really need to be successful with storytelling. Show, don't tell. And
creating allegories, you said, right?
Creating allegories is one way to show, not tell.
Okay.
I'm going to explain show, not tell. It's actually become, it's become a bit of a inside joke in my house. My husband, he'll always say, like, show, don't tell.
That's so funny.
And so what show, don't tell is it's the way that instead of like telling someone, for example, I can say, I can help you, right? And you might go, okay, you might be able to help me. Okay, whatever. But there's no impact there, right? Now, I could tell you, you know, I can take you from 0 to 6 figures in 5 months with 20 hours a week of work and getting to spend time with your children and having cuddle binge Netflix sessions with your hubby, right?
Yeah.
Totally different.
Absolutely.
Totally different.
Because now you're painting that picture of their ideal life that they want to have versus saying, I can help you, get to your next level.
Exactly. Even if I were to say, I can help you make more money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that might be intriguing, right? But it's different than if I were to give you these specifics.
Yeah.
Right. And really paint the picture. And that's what show don't tell is it really paints the picture of what it is that you are trying to show them. And it's not just, I always call them lifestyle desires, like what they really want, which is the result of your program, your product, your service, whatever that happens to be. And the pain points, but also the in-betweens. So for example, a brilliant mentor and colleague of mine, her name is Susan Kate. She teaches this idea called dirty windshield syndrome.
Okay. I love it.
And she's talking about, having so much going on that you can't see through it. And so it really creates that allegory, that picture for you. Same thing with chasing toddler syndrome. It's another one from her where, and any mommy knows this.
Yes, especially if you have multiples of them, at the same time.
Exactly. When one goes off in one direction and the other goes off in the other. And if you try to go after both, you're not catching anyone. If you scoop up one, then you can go after the other.
Yes.
It's the same thing in business.
I love it. I'm going to write these down. What a great, that's brilliant.
And so it's the same thing with anything you talk about. And I always tell my people, this is a thing that I give all my clients. I take away their LY words. It's something I learned from screenwriting. Because screenwriting is all about show, don't tell. That's the entire point.
So what are the LY words?
Anything that ends in LY.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Like I could say, I ran quickly through the kitchen.
Yeah, got it. Like any adverb, basically.
Exactly.
LY. Okay.
Exactly. Now, when I take away the LY word, I have to think of how am I going to convey that I went quickly? So then I start thinking, because I am super accident prone, I whizzed through the kitchen, banging into the side door, slamming cupboards, and raiding the fridge as fast as I can, and running right back out the door to hop in the car and take my kids to school. Right? So it's
huge.
Completely different. And it's
because I can see it. I can see it in my mind's eye.
Exactly. If you can see it in here, you're lighting up your brain and you're encoding.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. And here's the other cool thing. When you use these techniques, it increases the perceived value of your services and programs. And it's been shown to do that in studies by as much as over 6,100%.
Wow.
That's huge.
That is huge.
It is.
It's crazy.
Unbelievable how, and it's across the board. It is the coolest thing. That's why I always tell people, I'm like, you can have your message and your message is great and it will get you to a certain point in business.
Yeah.
But once you get to that point, storytelling is where you up level, because it is the way that you keep your connection with your audience when they're too big, right? To really have that one-on-one connection like you did in the beginning. And that's so important for people who are community-minded business owners and entrepreneurs. There can be a loss when you up level, right? Yeah. And that feeling of, I miss my people, I miss my community. And it can get a little vain sometimes where I have all these people, but I don't have that connection like I did. And this is the way that you bridge that gap and keep that connection going and keep inspiring them just as much as being inspired yourself.
I love it. So, I mean, this is something that can be not just helpful only in business, but also in your relationships, in your everyday life, how you show up every single day, correct?
Absolutely. Storytelling touches every aspect of my life. And it's funny because I always use, to really drive home show, don't tell, I use this thing. Almost every couple I know has had this argument. Luckily, I haven't, because we talked about this before.
That's a good one.
Everyone has heard of the argument, I don't want you to tell me that you love me. I want you to show me that you love me, right? That is show, don't tell.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
want you to show up with flowers. I want you to like look at me like you want me. I want you to, eat the dinner I cooked for you and be like, good.
Licking fingers and all, right?
Exactly. So it's more of the experience. It
Mm.
creates this aura around what you're creating that makes it tangible. And that's the biggest thing. If you're telling, it's dry, it's boring, it's just not vivacious.
Mm.
Whereas with storytelling techniques, you breathe life into your words. And where there's life, there's creativity, there's expansion, and there's growth and evolution. And that's what we as entrepreneurs and business owners strive for.
I
And
love it.
that's what we want to give to our people. So if you want to do that, storytelling, it's not as much an option as it is like a must at some point that you just need to embrace and learn. And it's not as hard as it sounds. It becomes your way of communicating, and it becomes your way of life, which makes it more vibrant, more beautiful. And communication just becomes so much easier, like with your partner. Hoo-wee, I tell you what.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I want to ask you this because you just mentioned, you said it doesn't have to be hard. So now I'm just thinking the thrivers who are tuning in right now, they might be thinking, okay, I get it. I'm convinced like storytelling is an important part, but I don't know where to begin. I've never done it. How do you begin? Like, how do you start? Or even if you're doing it, how do you amp it up to a level that you're able to create an amazing impact and amazing influence with your followers, within your audience, but also feel lit up right here, because that's what makes it so worthwhile, right? If you're lit up, they're going to feel it. So give us like, I don't know how many steps, but like just a few points to tell us, okay, this is what you can do. 1, 2, 3. I know some people like to learn like that, kind of step-by-step approach.
So different approaches work for different personalities.
Sure.
So I'm going to kind of approach it from that standpoint. There are people like me who I needed a mentor. It really helped me. And it took me, I kid you not, it took me 6 months to learn show, don't tell effectively.
Wow.
Before it finally clicked. I have my people learning it in a week. That's the
amazing.
Power of a mentor. Exactly.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So getting into a course where the storytelling isn't about sharing your story. That is like so important, because if that's the focus of the storytelling, it really discounts your audience. And it becomes about you, the business owner and the entrepreneur. And it's not that that's a bad thing, but when it doesn't take into consideration your audience and what they're going through, it becomes something that creates a little bit of a wall instead of an inclusive experience.
Yeah, because it's like about you. It's like me.
Exactly.
Here's my story. Here's my experience. Okay, bye. Right?
Exactly.
So how can you make it how can you make it like a two-way street? How can you make it that, okay, here's what I experienced, here's my story, and here's what you can, I don't know.
Absolutely. So we talk about brand story and personal story, right? And those are really where you open up, you're vulnerable, and you share. But you're not necessarily sharing your whole life, right? For example, I don't go into deep detail about my abusive childhood, right? I mention it, but I mention it because a lot of my audience and a lot of your listeners and people that we interact with, they feel like I've been through this, I can't accomplish anything. So if I can peek the, hey, I've been there, but I don't necessarily go into that detail because it doesn't make sense for the content.
Sure. It's not relevant.
Exactly. What it does is it lifts those people up and it lets them listen to really take it in, right? And so that's a different kind of approach. It's really about knowing your audience on an intimate level. And so with the storytelling, it's not as much about the stories as it is the techniques of conveying what you're communicating. So it's really about the stories that you share are the smallest part of storytelling, which is shocking. So if you want to learn storytelling, I would really recommend not going into a brand story course. I would start with an actual storytelling mentor who knows the ins and outs of storytelling really, really well.
Love that. And you have something, correct? Like, do you want to tell us briefly about, because you have like a nice little package that you've prepared. So
I do.
Yeah.
So,
would you like to share that?
Absolutely. I have the Storytelling Secrets mini course, which is totally free. If you go to storytellingmarketingformula.com, which I know is long.
We'll have it in the show notes for sure.
Oh, perfect. So if you go to storytellingmarketingformula.com, you can go through the entire mini course, and it's got videos. I don't know if it has an audio download, but it does have a workbook throughout the entire thing. And so my big thing is I love implementation. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And I want my people implementing. So whether you work with me for free or you work with me, for money, really getting that implementation is huge. And so every single video in that mini course has an implementation workbook, and you can get help from me on it. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So guys, check it out. Make sure you check it out if you're interested in that, and it's free. So if someone wanted to actually work with you and say, you know what, okay, I've gotten that mini course, it's great, but I need more. Do you have something for that? Because
I do. So the option that I would really suggest is start with the Storytelling Marketing Formula, especially if you're new to storytelling. It is my signature course. It is the best thing I've created yet.
That's awesome.
I am so passionate about this course. It's unbelievable. And it's because it gives you everything you need to know about storytelling, everything that you need to know about presenting yourself as the expert, as the leader, especially because I call them your X factors. Everybody has X factors, even if you think you're boring as all get out. I promise you're not.
Yeah, everybody has something.
Exactly. And being able to identify those things and then convey them in your messaging is huge. So I touch on those things as well. So
that's great.
The course is amazing. And for people who need payment plans, there's a very generous payment plan with it. So
the mini course itself leads to the actual course, correct?
It does.
Okay, great.
It does.
Great.
And
awesome.
A cool thing is I actually do 8 hours of group calls every single week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's completely different than what I've seen out there. And that's what I wanted to create, something that you can go and implement and get that mentor feel even when they're new. So that is the best place to start if you want to work with me.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, PollyAnna. You have added so much value in this short amount of time that we've been together. I truly honor you and appreciate you. Thank you so much for giving us your time.
Oh, thank you for having me. It has been an absolute pleasure, and it is such an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, PollyAnna. Thrivers, thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Until the next one, live on purpose, focus on what truly matters, and keep thriving.
Thank you for tuning in. Join our Facebook group by typing The Thriving Entrepreneur in the search box. And connect with Yasmin at yasminanil.com. That's YASEMININAL.com. Till next time, keep thriving.